It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Hey, in the intersection between the digital and physical world today, I have Greg Kaplan. And you know Greg Kaplan, he's the guy that talks about solution selling. He's been doing some great videos. And first, I want to congratulate you, Greg, on your videos. They're getting better every day. And then how are you and your family doing? I know you're outside of Chicago. That's one of the hot zones of the virus. So is everybody safe and sound up there?
We're doing great, Ray. We've adapted to homeschooling and e-learning quite well with the family. So thank you.
Man, it's pretty interesting. You're seeing a whole lot of technology solutions being implemented in your own home, so that's kind of cool for you. But what are you hearing out there from the solution providers? I know you're well connected with a lot of those folks. What are some of the things you're hearing about?
Yeah, so Ray, let me just start by saying, thanks to the video help, and also over the past year, I've learned more about the channel from watching your videos about whether it's leasing, it's hardware sales, it's the whole operational aspect of it. So I've been selling solutions, working for software vendors through the imaging channel for the past 20 years, and I've learned more about my dealers and partners working with you in the past year than I have the prior 18 or 19 years. So it's been a great learning experience.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm honored by that, Greg. You do these videos, you put out this content, you're hoping people are watching, so I appreciate that. You appreciate that a lot, But I know, I talked a little bit a while back, and actually I think it was after a conversation that me and you had that, while these sales reps are at home and they're trying to communicate with their end users, let's ask them some different questions. Let's ask them about how their struggles are with setting up their home office and all that kind of stuff. And, I wanted to take that a little bit further with you. What are some of the things, and I know you've done a couple of videos. I think you've done one on DocuSign and showing people how to use that. You did one on VPN and stuff, so that was kind of cool. But what are some of the things that to expand on that conversation I had with everybody about talking to their customers about some of the struggles around software and solutions as they work from home? Can you elaborate or help them on that a little bit?
Sure. Well, let me set the table by giving a real example. So a friend of mine is in the manufacturing business and makes packaging for the food industry. So they're deemed an essential business, so he's going to work. So I was talking to him about what kind of calls is he getting from his vendors and suppliers. And he gets quite a few of them. And people want to be helpful, but there's not a substantive conversation. They're calling, how are you doing? Can we help? Just to let you know, we're still here. Nobody's having the next level discussion about, hey, all that year-end planning that you did in October, November, that's probably out the window. How has this virus changed what your plans are this year? What's worked for people that are working remotely or not? How are you going to implement that? What technology needs do you have? How is that changing? He's not getting any of those questions, and he's open to have those discussions. So I think it's a missed opportunity. There's a lot of people tiptoeing around the edges, not sure or feeling their way around the kinds of content and discussions they want to have with customers. Customers are interested in getting their business up and running. So if you can help them, let's start having some real deeper conversations about their business.
Well, I think it's almost like the person that breaks their arm. You break your arm, and then for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 months, as long as you have that cast on, every time you see somebody, how'd you break the arm? And you got to get into this whole story. And I think we're seeing that now with the virus. Everybody, we're in the corona. How's it going? And we're not really getting, like you said, any substantive questions. I was thinking about something. I want to run this by you. So if I have a whole army of sales reps sitting at home, I got them going through the CRMs. A lot of them are playing sock puppets, catching the cars. I think we've all seen that video. But realistically, wouldn't it make sense to have these salespeople call up the internal customers, call up the admin director that's sitting at home and pretend that's an external customer and start asking her some questions about the business processes? Because my guess is inside the imaging channel, most of the salespeople have no clue really how admin works, have no clue really of the pains that the admin people are going through because they're working at home. Is there software in the cloud? I mean, think about the knowledge they could get just from asking their own internal customers. So we practice on internal customers so we can be ready for the field, so we're not calling up your friend, like in the manufacturer business, asking them stupid questions. What do you think about that?
Ray, it's a great idea. The classic problem in the imaging channel as it relates to solutions is that they're selling a product, whether it's a hardware product or a software product. So they're asking the questions in a narrow range to implement or transact that product. And the reason why we're not asking these higher level questions about how information moves, what their technology infrastructure looks like, is because there's not a lot of comfort from the sales rep or the customer facing teams from the dealers to have these discussions. So they take it to where their comfort zone is.
Mm-hmm.
But you bring up an excellent point. Why don't we look inwards and understand how order management works, how deals, how POs get processed, who's in charge, what's the overall workflow, what are we using to process this, what's the order management system? That would be a wonderful use of time. So at least we have some comfort into the workflow and information flow, and we have a story to tell our customers. It's a great idea.
Well, think about the CEOs of these dealerships. You want to test your sales reps, have them call you. Have them call you as a C-level and start asking you how your company is doing through this crisis and some of the problems you're having. I think it would be a great strategy, so I'm glad. Hey, if a dealer reaches out to you and they want some help or they, hey, Greg, can you give us some questions for our salespeople to ask? Is that something you can provide and help them with?
Right away. Happy to do it. Yep. We've got a couple of guys waiting to have those calls, have those higher level calls with customers. So if you need some help with either the technology or understanding how information flows and some of the applications that handle that information or documents, we've got a great team that built a lot of these professional services teams for software vendors, and would be a great asset to your teams, to the dealer teams, to be part of these calls.
Well, man, I think it's a great idea. I'm glad we thought of it. Talk and see that when you look for something new, you'll find it. If you just have conversations with people, you can stumble across things. So, Greg, it's always great talking to you. I look forward to having you on again. And in the meantime, stay safe up there in Chicago with you and your family. And I'll see you in that intersection between the digital and physical world. My friends, I'm going to end this like I always do. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo and have a fantastic day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Ray.